All right, so first part is about edition 2022. You may all remember that edition 2021 was released not so long ago. So you're probably all wondering why a new edition of Y2 so soon. For those of you who were lucky enough to join us in Monaco for this year's user conference, Cegid Connection, we announced a new motto, which is set a new pace. We understand that your business, your expectations, the market is changing at a very fast pace, and we need to adapt, and we need to more and more be agile and be able to deliver fixes, but also new features more frequently. So where we used to release one new major version or edition of Y2 every 2 to 16 months, we want to speed up this process. So it means a lot of adaptations that we need to put in place, new organizations and so on. But edition 2022 is, I'm not going to call this a first attempt because we're happy with what we're going to provide. But this is the first example of a shorter release cycle for Y2 core. So what is this version going to provide? I'm not going to detail everything that we do in terms of security, but security is becoming more and more important in our digital age because we need, I mean, you entrust us with your data, with your application. We need to ensure that we provide you through our SaaS applications a secure way for you to use your system. So we can talk about pen test, code obfuscations, authentic code signatures, and a lot of things. So it's not just Cegid, but also third-party consultants and companies that actually try and hack our environments and make sure that we constantly improve security around our solutions. The second thing is sort of going to be invisible for most of you with edition 2022 because you're not necessarily going to realize that it's here. But we went through, or we initiated a refactoring of our promotion engine. So what some of you may know as the sales condition module, with a full rewriting of the service using a microservice based architecture. This is not just going to be a rewriting. So the web service, the contracts remain unchanged, but we also took this occasion to improve and enhance the algorithm, and we share more insight into this in the coming weeks. In terms of omnicommerce or omnichannel process management, there's a few evolutions. Some of them are going to please some of you. The first one is we've improved the way Y2 interacts with a third-party distribution auto management or order management system, mostly in the case of what I'm going to call iterative order allocation. It means that the DOM or the OMS is going to calculate or work on different fulfillment scenarios and try in sequence to allocate an order to different stores in Y2 in order to not trigger a complex and sometimes lengthy or resource consuming process in Y2. We've created a new status in the order that is under the responsibility of the DOM or OMS to update once they think they have found the best route or fulfillment method for this order. The second thing, another thing that we've improved is multi-location order fulfillment, when this multi-location order fulfillment involves both the DC or the e-commerce stockroom and a store inventory. So that's something that was not feasible before. Multi-location fulfillment was available through multiple store location, but this mixed sort of order fulfillment was not made available. On top of this, and we're working, so that's why I'm not going to describe it in too much detail now, but we're going to offer the an option or the possibility for third-party systems creating orders. I'm thinking e-commerce websites, for instance, creating orders in Y2 to also provide the tax model information. This is mostly going to be interesting for, or I'm thinking for EU-based companies, because the regulation have changed and the tax to be applied to a send sale or an international order has to be the one of the country of delivery. A few things in terms of CRM. The address management has slightly evolved. Why? Because regulation and laws and standards are evolving as well. So we had to enlarge address, city, region, and country fields. And I think they all went from 35 to 70 characters. And we've, in addition, added a fourth address line. We took this occasion, and I'm talking here about the Y2's front office application. We've created a new user interface for the address management, which you have more information on very soon. Finally, a couple of other topics. Some of our customers actually manage really high numbers of SKUs in the item master and have or sell or distribute their products through very large networks. And in some cases, the calculation at night of what we call price list aggregates, mostly used for standalone mode, could take a lot of time, especially when there were multiple price lists involved. So we've created a new optional price list aggregate engine that you can activate or not. That's going to bring very significant improvements in terms of calculation. Finally, we've also added, when it comes to customers, stores, and warehouse records, the ability for you to store a third-party system identifier in the form of a GUID. We are going to ensure through Y2 and our own logic that the code provided is unique, and we are slowly implementing this GUID in all our web services. The idea, and I'm talking here about integration with the third-party CRM system, third-party ERP, or third-party e-commerce platform, to give you or give those systems the ability to call Y2 API using not a Y2 ID that is usually unknown for that system, but to use their own ID. And we've built in our API a translation service that will make it possible for Y2 to understand that this reference sent, for instance, from the ERP is for that store in Y2. So that's some of the evolutions. And edition 2022 comes with and something that actually has involved a lot of resources over the past few months, which is a refactoring of the what we call vouchers management. What we call vouchers, and this is going to become the only generic term for us, is whatever relates to deposit payments, gift cards, gift vouchers, and credit notes. The first thing we wanted to do is try and standardize the way we manage those vouchers in the application. There was one big difference, for instance, is that for years now, gift cards have been what we call stackable, or we're enabling multiple use of gift cards. So a customer was able to purchase a gift card and use it or redeem it for several purchases. This is not something that was possible for deposit payments or vouchers or credit notes. So the first thing. The second thing is that credit notes for years now were the only vouchers that were not available for our mobile applications. So mobile POS, for instance, mPOS, was not able to use or issue credit notes. Live Store, which is a new mobile POS application, would not have been able to process credit notes without this enhancement that's coming with edition 22. The third thing is that there's a change in the way governments, fiscal authorities are now expecting retailers to process tax. And this is mostly related to the sale of deposits. Let's say when a customer places an order and pays for a deposit, tax should be collected on that deposit. This is now the case in France. It's been the case in Italy for some time. Same thing for Thailand, and more countries are adopting this. So this is something that Y2 has always been able to do. The problem comes at the time the customer is going to pick up or collect the products they've ordered, because to avoid having to collect the tax twice, we had to find a way to deduct that tax that had already been collected by the retailer at the time the customer had paid the deposit. So same thing here, something that was made possible through troublesome workaround solution, not very user-friendly for your sales staff. So in short, what the upgrades that have been made to our data model and business logic will now make it possible, on top of collecting the tax on deposit payments for orders, reservations, and so on, will also automatically deduct the right amount of tax whenever an order collection or reservation pickup is going to occur. In addition, it will be possible to track the balance of collected tax. The example is a customer is going to pay for deposit for an order of 2 products. When they're going to collect the first item, we should only deduct the tax, the right amount of tax, which is the one that was collected initially for the order of that particular order. And finally, since we have all of this, and this is all standardized and so on, we are releasing a new API that's called voucher management, which will be used, for instance, by MPOS, by Live Store, and so on, but also by third-party systems if need is, to create, update, close, redeem, and so on, or get a list of available vouchers and so on. So this is a new API. Therefore, it is available both in SOAP and RESTful. Because we're talking about APIs, so APIs, we're trying to remove friction between what gets delivered as part of the Y2 core, back office and front office applications, and APIs. This is one of the benefits of working the way we are, is that we can deliver new APIs all year long and try not to have to rely or have to wait on a new version of the core to be able to release those APIs. Having said that, as part of edition 2022, we want to showcase or talk about new APIs. The first one is the one I just mentioned, which is the voucher management one. We're also very happy to deliver, and that's the first one of 2 important APIs that we wanted to modernize. So we know that the existing customer WCF API was a bit dated, only available in SOAP. So we are releasing a new SOAP and RESTful customer management API. We are also raising, and that's something important, to manage a process I'm going to describe in a second, a new sales associate management API. Why we wanted to do this? Because more and more customers are now managing the staff onboarding process directly from their HR system. So last year, we've released or made public our user management API. The bit that was missing was to give third-party systems the ability to create, update sales associate records. This is now available and could potentially make it possible to really streamline the user and sales associate management process directly from an HR or third-party application. Because we're working, and that's what I was expecting before as well, on a lot of new microservice-based application, because Live Store and MPOS need a lot of new services, because we are still investing on releasing new web apps and so on. We have actually released a lot of new configuration and settings related APIs, making it possible, for instance, to create user-defined tables, to create subsidiaries, to create Markdown reason code, and so on. So this is something that we keep working on. I mentioned the new microservice sales condition engine, and we are also continuously updating and enhancing existing APIs. This year, we also released a new what we call tax engine connectors, both for Avalara and Vertex. So for our SaaS customers hosted on our SaaS, making those third-party tax engines widely used in the US or let's say North America, making them available to solutions like MPOS and NiceStore. Plus, we're also leveraging on everything we're learning and now mastering through Microsoft and Azure components. A good example is what we're doing with custom data. Custom data is to give you the ability to, for instance, as just an example, to print on a receipt data that is not contained in the Cegid data model. Okay, so this is custom data that you need to keep, store, and organize through a different container that can made available to Y2 applications. In terms of planning, actually edition 2022 is becoming RC, which for us is a release candidate tomorrow. Okay, so we finalize all our internal testing phase, meaning that we're going to start a pilot phase, both with on-premise and SaaS customers, with a plan to make edition 22 ready to market by the end of March, to then start the SaaS Advanced farms and pods upgrade phase with, as usual, test environment before we do prod between April and May this year. So coming rather soon. There will be more information to come on this, so we'll soon be able to publish release notes. We are going to organize more detailed and, as I said earlier, in-depth seminar on this version, and we will answer your questions at the end of this session if needed. And I'm now going to hand it over to Gian, whose mic I'm going to unmute.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jeanne Sonneman, the new product manager around SaaS issues solutions. I would like to talk about Retail File Exchange. Retail File Exchange is a new component based on Microsoft Azure Blob Storage and integrated with Y2 in order to give you to exchange files between Y2 and any other third-party systems. RFE was developed in particular to replace the Cegid File Transfer (CGFT) solution, which is limited, as you know, in terms of file size and does not offer scalability. This new component also offers a better level of security for file exchange via secure protocols. There is few prerequisites. First of all, you must use Y2 environment in SaaS. You must be in SaaS, dedicated or advanced. You must use a minimum version of Y2, the 2021. And you must notice that Orly cannot use RFE yet, but it will be soon the case. What RFE provides you? First of all, you can export or import file from to Y2. You can use also CGFT in the main time. You can have an archive of 7 days, and you can have also monitoring through many tools, SaaS tools like Splunk. First, the most important thing with RFE is that you have a user right barcode container, and you will have also secured access through API token or SaaS key, which is new and provided by Microsoft. You will have the possibility to treat with a larger file size, and you will have a better server rates. Okay. Thank you, Sam. How it works. You will be able to create many containers, up to 20 per client, and with your desired name, in order to segregate data exchanges. In each container, you will have 3 directories: in for import files to Y2, out for files exported from Y2, and archive for the archive of uploaded files. You will be autonomous to create, modify, suppress all of your container, and you must know that there is an agent which is running every 60 seconds to transfer all your files between RFE client and Y2 task server. I would like to add some few points before talking about objectives. Just to know that you can use different tool to use RFE as Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer or as Zcopy. You will be able to use API, which are provided by RFE and which are described in a documentation we can provide you. For the objective on 2023, we want to provide you a supervision console, a web app, that can allow you to follow the transfer of a file and know where it is. And you will be able to receive notification as soon as the file is available or integrated, which is a new option. That's it for RFE. Yes, Identity Federation now. Thank you, Sam. What is a federation? In fact, if you are a client, if we are a Cegid client, you will be able to centralize your identity management software to have a management of your identifier of all your users by your management, your own management. If you are a retail user, when you will be able to log in your interface, you will have 2 options. First one, you are user federated, so your credentials will be controlled by your corporate identity provider. And if you are not a federated user, you will be able to log in with the credential defined on Y2. So Cegid provide you a new component, which is not really new because you know it. It's Cegid Life. It will be a gateway between Y2 and your identity provider for each customer. And the connection between Cegid Life or Passport and your identity provider can be OpenID or SML Vader, depending on your company identity provider. The identity applied on Y2. In fact, it's very simple. You just have to fill in the case to a federated identity in the web app identity, and then your user will be declared as federated. So the workflow is this one. When the user wants to log to Y2, he had to fill in his user and his domain. And if this user is not federated, he will have to fill in his password, the Y2 password defined on Y2, password defined on Y2. And if it's not federated, you will have to fill in with your credential, the credential of your company management. Yes, that's it. I want to add that the process to if you want to add a user in the federation, you will have two steps, two phases. The first one is to federate your identity federation with our identity federation, first one, and after you will have to check the federated boxes in the API in the identity web app. Sorry. This is two phases, and these phases are described on a documentation that we can provide too. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lian. So we understand it's very difficult for us. Again, the idea is really to give you an overview on what we believe are important topics, especially we've been questioned and challenged for some time on those two topics. So file transfer in the case of a solution to solution integration. Second one is that identity federation. So we understand that they're complex topics. Same thing, we will organize in-depth and more technical webinars for people who are interested. I would say the first thing for you, if you are interested, is probably to reach out to your project director, customer success manager, or whoever your contact is at Cegid, and we can organize a more detailed session for you. I will check the Q&A list. There are very few questions. So the first one, I think, answered came pretty early in the discussion, is when is V22 becoming available? So I said the plan is for it to become ready to market in early April, late March, early April. So for on-premise customers, same thing. You will be able to get the package to install it on your test environment and start working on it. For SaaS customers, SaaS advanced customers, you will be delivered a test environment for you to start and test that version, knowing that we plan to upgrade all production environments between late April and May on all our point of deliveries. There was a question that was, is there a known end of life or end of support for Y2 V21? So it was just to play on, and just to use the words. So there's no end of life and there's no end of support for most our solutions. There will be an end of maintenance scheduled for V21, meaning a date from which V21 is not going to receive any fixes or upgrades. We have not yet published the updated product life cycles policy. It should be done within a couple of weeks. But for those who are on-premise customers or SaaS dedicated using edition 2021, you should keep receiving support and maintenance on this version for another 2 years. I will just go and chat the chatbot as well, the box. And there's no more question. Don't be shy. No more question. All right. Well, in that case, and maybe just before we part ways for now, just a reminder that there will be other webinar sessions organized shortly in the coming weeks. So if you're interested in omnichannel process management, if you're interested, and I would encourage you to check maybe in particular this session on Cegid Retail Store Excellence. Store Excellence is a brand new solution for us, and we're starting and now dealing with store compliance related topics. And we talk about compliance, we're not talking about fiscal or legal requirements, which is good also. But we now have this solution that basically, and to summarize, is going to please your store managers in helping them getting rid of WhatsApp, SMS, WeChat, email, SMS, and so on, and to have one single web-based portal task management interface to communicate with people from a head office as well. This is really, really cool. There will be a session on the Cegid Retail Intelligence. We're also making available new store dashboards. Same thing, helping your stores better keep track and monitor their performance. Cegid Retail Inventory Tracking is a solution we've received really, really good feedback from our customers, which is a mobile working both on Android and iOS devices, a backstore management applications, so receiving stock transfers, physical inventory, cycle counts, omnichannel order preparation, and so on. It's very simple, very easy, and fast to implement. Great adoption. If you're using Oli, there will be a session for you. If you are a Cegid Retail UR user, there's something for you, and we keep organizing more sessions on Y2 very soon. Again, to keep you updated on what's new on your solution. So if there's no more question, we will thank you all for your availability, for your time, and we hope to talk to you very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.